Today I will be taking Shin Ramyun, one of the greatest instant noodles of all time, and basically try and turn it into carbonara. Why am I doing this? Well, because sometimes Italians on the internet can be very annoying when it comes to food. So this video will probably be public torture for them. And let me just be clear, I'm not saying all Italians are annoying, okay? We all know there are good Italians out there. Will this carbonara even taste good? I have no idea. I'm just gonna start doing it and hope it turns out alright. So for the ingredients, I wanted to keep it as traditional as possible, but with some additions, you know. There's no point changing every single ingredient and then still call it a carbonara. So for the traditional ingredients, we have your usual pecorino romano, guanciale, which is cured pork, and also some bacon because I didn't realize how expensive guanciale was. And truthfully, I didn't want to buy some more. Next, for some additional flavor boosters, we have garlic, spring onion, miso paste, and gochujang paste. Finally, we have our delicious Shin Ramyun, which if you guys haven't tried already, what are you doing? Go right now and try it. It's honestly so good. So if you haven't made carbonara before, it's actually not too hard. I know everyone on the internet makes it seem so hard, but it really isn't. The only things you need to focus on to ensure a good carbonara is 1. Preparation, 2. Being able to keep track of time, and 3. Have some sort of mental stability. So first thing I did was my preparation because the carbonara part itself goes pretty fast, and if you don't do that part correctly, congratulations, you've made scrambled eggs. So I just chopped up everything, you know, garlic, guanciale, and guys, look at this spring onion. Why the hell is it so big? So for my spring onion, I wanted to try and make those fancy curls that they use in restaurants as a garnish. So I just chopped it up and put it in some ice water, which supposedly makes them curl up, and we will check back on those later. So next part of the carbonara is the egg cheese mixture, and this is what turns our noodles into carbonara. So I grated my pecorino and cracked my eggs into a bowl. Here I decided to go with more egg yolks than yolks to make it extra creamy, and to the eggs I added my cheese and the seasoning packet from the Shin Ramyun. And additionally I added the miso paste and gochujang paste because I thought, hey, why not just throw it in, you know. In the meantime, let's check back with our spring onion curls. Oh, nothing has happened. Oh no. So now that we have everything prepped, we move over to the stove and hopefully bring this whole thing together. First I rendered my guanciale, and at this point I was like, I don't think I have enough guanciale, so I just threw in my emergency bacon. Always have emergency bacon on you, unless you're like Muslim, then maybe not. Now, remember I mentioned the importance of timing? Well, when my guanciale was almost done rendering, I then put my noodles to boil. So just as my guanciale was done, I then transferred my noodles and immediately stirred to coat the noodles in all the fat. Next, I turned off the heat and dumped in the egg cheese mixture, and this is where in a couple of seconds your carbonara is formed. I added the noodle water to basically emulsify everything together, and the most important part of this step is probably turning off the heat, because if you don't, the eggs will cook super fast, and like I mentioned earlier, you will end up with scrambled eggs with a side of depression. So once everything came together, I plated it up, and guess what guys, the spring onion actually curled up in the end. And for the noodles itself, not gonna lie, at this point, it was looking very sexy, okay? It looked super creamy and it had a nice red color to it, which I really liked. Now, it may look good, but how does it actually taste? So for the taste, it was spicy, it was cheesy, it was creamy, but my main issue with this is that it was so salty. Oh my, so salty. At the time, I was wondering why on earth is this so salty, but looking back now, I realize salt. Salt. More salt. Guess what? Salt. I think if you ate this every day, your kidneys would probably expire instantly and your hair would probably fall out. I don't know why I didn't think this would happen, so if I were to do this again, I probably would remove the miso paste because honestly, I couldn't really taste it, and also I would maybe reduce the amount of cheese in it to cut down some of the saltiness. Overall, I would give it maybe like a 5 out of 10. It was a good attempt, but I probably will never do this again. The only way I would consider doing this again is if the Italian government would hire me to do this as live torture for their prisoners.